I wonder where my next appointment will be.
When you try your best but you don't succeed. When you get what
I've got a question for you. Why are you not hitting your real targets, guys? The situation just cannot continue. We have so much bad debt that we can't renew any policies.
How are we meant to hit our renewal target? You never tell us what the target's going to be until the 25th of the month. How can we hit something we don't know what it, if we don't know what it is?
In regards to lapsing policies, we don't know what the procedure is, we just wait for customers to contact us.
Well, we've got procedures in place and process, we just have to follow them.
But we spend all our time answering phone calls and complaints and dealing with all the administration. We just don't have time to follow those procedures.
And everyone follows the different rules. There's no set process for most of our renewal. We don't know what we're doing. We just.
Sorry guys, but we have procedures that we just have to follow. Simple, we've got to hit target, we follow what we've got. Come in.
Hi, I'm here for the lead appointment.
Sorry?
The lead appointment?
Sorry, we haven't got time for lean.
Right, okay, wrong
Bye.
one. Thank you.
See you,
Bye.
try to fix you.
What are your first thoughts when you heard Lean was being introduced?
I was quite excited because I'd had a little bit of exposure to Lean before. Hadn't really seen too much change, but then I hadn't had huge involvement with it. So I was quite excited to see how it would change the department, but a little bit unsure of quite how it would work. So where we'd find the time, what things could be changed, how long it would take to do things. But generally it was quite a excited outlook and getting involved a bit more.
Oh no, there's another thing we've got to try and fit into our day. But that being said, I did think that there was probably quite a lot it could do for us, and so I was quite excited. I thought that it was going to be worthwhile, and there was certainly a lot of room for improvement in what we did.
I thought that it was going to be a streamlining process where we fired a lot of people and got the processes up so that actually we no longer needed to have the amount of staff that we did on the floor.
I didn't really know very much about Lean, and to be honest, it didn't really mean anything, but I did do some research and found that it was very much about thinking differently, working differently. But if I'm honest, I really didn't know what to expect.
What changes have you seen?
The changes that Lean have brought to Endsleigh, I suppose it brightens up the office. First thing is the fact it's, it makes it more colourful. It means that teams get involved together. They talk to each other rather than, you talk to the people next to you, but you don't necessarily know what's happening on the other end of your team or people that aren't doing exactly the same work as you. And so I think communication is a huge change. I think also it's been great for people that want to learn more about what they can do for the business. So the work we've done with OpenGI, learning about the systems and all these things that have always been able to be changed, but we were never able to do it, or it wasn't a priority to look at, and that's changed quite a lot.
I've seen that the processes have been made a lot more efficient. We've automated all of our letters, so it saves us a huge amount of time creating the letters, so we can spend this doing other tasks. Also, the introduction of cells in the department has allowed our team to get together more frequently and discuss our performance and give us more direction, allows us to discuss things like our concerns as well.
I've seen a lot of changes since I started. I started in February and obviously I was a new member. At that time there wasn't a huge amount of training. You sort of picked it up as you went along, which was good because I could, in reason, handle that. But it was a lot of firefighting, a high workload, and trying to manage your day-to-day tasks. With the lean process, that again sort of had started when I first started, and now we've got a system in our comm cells where we're aware of our workload. We've got set SLAs so that we can look at what we've got to do that day and manage it basically. And we've also had more training and training manuals to help document what we've learned and what we know.
Before Lean was introduced, the morale in the team was not great. Individuals didn't have set work. We didn't really have a way of going into a comm cell and just saying and expressing what we were struggling with, and it wasn't actioned, and the workload wasn't really decreased for us. You know, workloads weren't shared, so we're really stressed, and it didn't provide a great morale within the team. But since comm cells have been introduced, they've given us a platform for visibility in good comm cells, so we know what we need to talk about in the comm cell, and it's structured and there's resolutions at the end of it. One of those is logging our concerns as well, and them being raised and actioned, and this is happening now. And this is backed up also by the fact that the college engagement scores have increased, so that's really positive, and morale is a lot better for it.
The biggest positive for me has been the fact that I can now manage my team effectively, because I can see what work is outstanding and what our service levels are for each task. So prior to Lean, we just had a lot of work outstanding and no real measure as to whether the work we're completing in a day was good. Whereas following Lean, I can manage the team because I can see what work we've got and what needs to be done each day, and prioritising tasks as well. So it's meant that I can manage the team much more effectively. As well, it means that the team have been empowered to make changes for themselves. So if there's a problem, instead of coming to me and asking me to fix it, they can now say, Claire, this is a problem, this is what I'm going to do to fix it. And so it's empowered them to make changes rather than it coming off from me.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel.
Well, I started off doing my yellow belt in regards to our letter processes, trying to automate our letters on the system to save us some time. From that, I actually moved to a new team. So I moved from an in-scope team to an out-of-scope team for Lean. So I kind of decided that I wanted to implement Lean into that new team. So Jenna helped me with that, so we did kind of sold the concept to the team because they hadn't really heard much about Lean, and then we kind of went through the comm cell design, and we've kind of had it in kind of up and running now for about 4 months. From that we've raised like 58 concerns, and we have signed off about 40 of those, so it's going really well. And I'm also now coaching a yellow belt as well, so it's going really well.
I would say going home feeling satisfied that I've achieved that day. I've met the SLAs that we've set, and I can go home with my head held high. Also, we've improved our SLA for calls dramatically. We used to abandon 50% of calls. We're now answering 60% within 30 seconds, which is a huge improvement, and we're obviously looking to get towards the 80%. We are quite a small team, but we're doing our best. And I think the reason that we're at that stage with the 60% is because we're now managing all of our tasks in a much better way than we were previously.
I think Lean has left me feeling empowered. We've been able to make changes, address issues, look at systems, and I think for me now, I look at things very differently. I look at everything with a completely new perspective. I'm always looking for solutions rather than thinking, you know, that's just how it's done. It's very much now about, okay, well, how can we make it better? How can we improve things? How can we, you know, how can we make this what we want it to be, rather than just sort of ticking along and just going through the motions every day?
I'm Elaine Etheridge, Operations Manager at Endsleigh. In the broker division, we started our lean journey at the end of 2013. Started simply with com-sales, and we saw some great changes. So far, brokers had 274 concerns raised across all the teams, and that's led to 313 saved working days. We've used these days to reinvest for further improvements. Jenna's time in broker has done 5 key things, I think. It's improved our customer outcomes. It's changed a lot of our processes. It's made our workloads for colleagues much more manageable. But most of all, it's empowered colleagues to think for themselves, to think differently. And I think we've got a much greater colleague engagement. So thank you, Jen.
If you feel like that's what you want to do.
Everything is awesome.